Trump era is unique in American history because it represents the success of a political candidate whose core message centered on the idea that the United States government was actively working against the interests of the American people. Despite that when candidate Trump came into power in 2017, that the United States remained the wealthiest country in the history of the world, and it delivered to its people highly effective government programs in areas like healthcare, education, and retirement. Unlike Germany in the early 1930s, the United States was not failing economically. There were many problems in many areas, of course, that different political perspectives had legitimate debates. And there were serious issues from homelessness to healthcare to job opportunities and wealth inequality. But the country was not failing, not from any lens of analysis. Welcome to this History Changes podcast, Breaking the Social Contract, How Americans Lost Faith in Government. I'm Dr. Philip W. Travis, a professor of history specializing in United States history since the end of the Second World War. I'm the author of the book, Reagan's War on Terrorism in Nicaragua, The Outlaw State, among other articles, chapters, and reviews. The Trump era was built on distrust. It was crafted on the notion that what specialists asserted as correct was not only incorrect, but intentionally so. Indeed, the core of the politician, the campaigner, the candidate Trump during this period, this era, are things like Hillary's emails, Obama's birth certificate, FBI witch hunts, Hunter Biden's laptop, build that wall, and the idea that illegal immigrants were being encouraged to invade the United States, the Paris Climate Accord, the 2020 stolen election, COVID origins, vaccine theories, even JFK assassination conspiracy theories. Whether the assertions of fake news or alternative facts or the widespread anti-vaccine campaign supported by Trump or the invasive deep state, the rise of the MAGA movement was all about distrust. That the government was working against the interest of the people, and only Trump was willing to expose it. This was, of course, the simple and clear premise of the QAnon movement, which most Americans, even some of those that voted for Trump, shrugged off as absurd. But it was ironically founded on something that a critical mass of Americans were already accepting, even if they did not accept wild conspiracy theories. They accepted that the government could not be trusted. It did not have the best interest of Americans at heart. This was not the first time that an American political figure had asserted an anti-government position, but it was the first time that one rode to a presidential victory on it. The mandate from the country was not a pro-Trump mandate. It was an anti-government mandate. A mandate against the status quo governing authority. During the 17th century, the English philosopher Thomas Hobbes coined the concept of the social contract. The idea, in short, was that individuals sacrificed a degree of their freedom to a government in exchange for certain safeguards, protections that individuals view as in theirs and society's best interest. In democratic societies, the social contract is inherently intertwined with the trust of the people. The members of society must trust that government is functioning with the country's best interests at heart. When that trust breaks down, it opens the door to significant shifts in the governing structure, and potentially radical ones. The breakdown of the social contract in the United States is not a phenomenon exclusively perpetuated on the right wing of the political spectrum, albeit the far right capitalized on this breakdown far more than the left. However, the American loss of trust in government developed robustly on the left and the right in the decades following the Second World War. On this podcast, we are going to provide a longer historical understanding of how this breakdown developed. The podcast is organized into a series of segments, chapters, each with an introductory summary of the period and the issues, then highlighted by specialists, professional historians, in particular areas that can help us have a nuanced historical perspective of each of these critical areas in the historical breakdown of the American social contract. So over the coming weeks and months, I hope you will join me, Dr. Philip W. Travis, on this podcast, this History Changes podcast, Breaking the Social Contract.